looking at a nice little drop last night that came all the way down to, let's see if I have a better screen here. Okay, yeah, the 4-hour chart down here. You can see the pennant pattern purple lines that I drew, and it went all the way down to that point. So we are kind of sitting at a support level. And I suspect that it will bounce at this point because we are pretty much uptrending, I would say, the last month. And I know that's a really long-term time frame for what I usually look at. But I would suspect, I'm going to make a prediction that it's going to bounce. And so even though it's dropping right through here, I think it probably will not get below that point right there, which is right there. Okay, so kind of a little bit wrong there in my prediction. It actually did drop below that a little bit, but we are still acting as a support right here. The purple line. I actually did not move that from the last frame. Let me go back and look at that again. Just a different time frame. So this is the 15 and 30-minute charts, and we are looking at a possible rise right through here. We see a nice big green candle, which didn't quite fully encompass the previous one, so there's, caution always to be had. But this one has begun up here, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, and at this point, I pretty much decided, yeah, I think it's worth the risk. I went and got into a long position here with my triggers in place. So I've got my exit order up here and a stop in place. And it went up nicely, very nice, and kind of followed it up with the stop a little bit here to lock in $100 here. And it actually hit that purple, that the orange SMA and dropped at that point. So I got stopped out, but it was $100 profit. So I was happy with that. In hindsight, I could see that this is probably a little bit premature to get into a long at this point because I fully expected to drop a little bit further than that. But the MACD, I think, was maybe what tipped the scales for me, and it looks like it's going to go up from this point. So I got into a long, and it immediately dropped. And I made the prediction that it was not obviously going to get below this point right here. If it did, I would be in trouble. And at that point right down here, it would turn. And if it didn't, then I would want to get out. So that would be a little bit of a loss to me, but it wouldn't be tremendous either. So it got right down to it. Kind of scared me a little bit. The MACD is looking good. And then it immediately came right back up again. So it's like, okay, I think I'm fine. I'm going to wait this one out. And it rose up and got above where I got in. And then I put an exit order in up here, which also was affected by what I saw over here in the 15-minute chart. Actually ended up lowering it just a little bit down to the orange SMA. So in between these two lines here. And I also made the prediction that it was going to hit this orange SMA and then drop down a little bit. And it was going to struggle to get through it for just a brief moment. And it did. And it kind of started to push above it. It got above it a tick or two. And you can see here I lowered my limit order to get out. And then it actually did get above it quite a bit and started to show a lot of upward momentum. So I got out at this point. And the second trade I made $162.50. So that was good. And then it broke above the yellow SMA here, which was awesome. And at that point I decided that it probably would be dropping, and it did. So I've made a lot of good predictions this morning, that's encouraging. When I make predictions and they actually come true, then I know that I can make good trades. So at this point, you can see the MACD is just now touching. And normally, if this were a downtrend, like you might be inclined to think it is, just looking at the screen here, then it would be dropping quite a bit. But I am saying that it is holding at the support right here, and I don't think it's going to drop very far. And in fact, I don't think it's going to drop much further than it is right here. And sure enough, it kind of leveled out, and we can see the MACD starting to recover here. And so I got into a long position, and actually dropped just a couple ticks below it before it took it. So got in, and it immediately jumped back up again. And it doesn't take very much further for it to go up for me to make a good trade at this point, because I got in at a really good spot. So I placed my exit order here, one tick below the lowest SMA. So I feel like that's a very conservative trade, honestly, even though it's $150, which sounds phenomenal. But I feel like that's, that's a good trade right there. So I got out, and that was 3 trades. All 3 were good, and I'm done. So I made $411, and I'm done by 9:33. So awesome trading day.